Alright, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson. So after my Chookagian versus Shevchenko fight review, I got a little bit of criticism from somebody basically saying, oh, I'm accusing them of the UFC of showing favoritism without showing proof. Well, I did mention her last several fights in the UFC and how she got to jump up at the rankings pretty quickly. I mean, those are literally facts, but apparently some people don't think those are facts. So, fine. Normally I wouldn't respond to a commenter like this, but if you're going to accuse me, say I'm specious and not lacking in facts, and then reveal yourself to be a complete Shevchenko nut hugger, and I will show that later too, then fine. Here's some favoritism from the UFC towards Antonina Shevchenko. She main evented the Dana White Contender Series against 7-3 Jamie Navarra. Now, at the time, Navarra only had one win over a fighter with a better than 500 record. Okay. Before then, Shevchenko only had a single win over a fighter with any wins at all, the 4-3 Valerie Domergue. Okay. Now, keep in mind, she main evented the Dana White's Contender Series. That's basically easy language to say, hey, you win, you're practically guaranteed to get signed. If you follow this show enough, you'll see it. Okay. Then she wins that fight. She got selected for a contract over other fighters whose wins were just as good, if not better. There was a heavyweight on the show, came in on 4 days' notice, got a first-round finish. He only got invited to the Ultimate Fighter. Shevchenko comes in, beats up someone with a very mediocre record, and gets signed straight away, and headlined. Shevchenko's record was, at the time, let's see, at the time of Contender Series, she was 5-0 and only had one win over a fighter with a winning record at the time. So, Shevchenko gets signed to the UFC. Her first fight, UFC debut, number 11 fighter, Ji-yeon Kim. Okay, how many fighters outside of being a short notice replacement get to make their UFC debut against a ranked fighter? It's not many, okay? It's not too many, very few. So then she wins a decision against Ji-yeon Kim. So she got to fight a ranked fighter and she won. Very stylistically easy matchup for Shevchenko too. Shevchenko is way more well-rounded as a striker. Ji-yeon Kim is a very one-dimensional boxer. So she gets a ranked fighter that is stylistically favorable to her. Next fight, Shevchenko is ranked number 13. She gets to step up against a top 10 fighter. She faced number 8, Roxanne Modafferi. Top 10 opponent in only her second UFC fight. And again, someone who, at least in the stand-up, she was very heavily stylistically favored against. Let me see here. Against Roxanne Modafferi, she was a minus 340 favorite, betting-wise. Okay? She loses a decision to Roxanne Modafferi. So, you move into her third fight. She just lost. Big step up, so they give her a tune-up fight. She was number 15 at the time. She faced, then unranked, Lucia Pudilova. Pudilova, at the time, was on a 2-fight losing streak. She beat Pudilova via second-round submission, and it was a pretty fun fight. I'll give her that. And I'll say it was a step down in competition. It was a tune-up fight. Okay, so now you're moving on to her fourth UFC fight. She's ranked number 12. She's scheduled to face number 2, Katlyn Chookagian. That's a 10 ranking spot difference between the two. Chookagian is coming off a loss to Valentina Shevchenko, who, Antonina Shevchenko, helped train Valentina for that fight. So she's had plenty of time to study Katlyn Chookagian's style. She actually would have emulated Chookagian's fighting style when she was sparring her younger sister Valentina, preparing for that fight. Now, someone else pointed out in the comments that Chookagian has to fight. Well, I haven't seen that. Even if it's true, it's still highly favorable to Shevchenko. Has more dimensions to her striking than Chookagian does. She trains with her sister, who just beat Chookagian, and she would have been emulating the style, which means she knows Chookagian's fighting style. So, going back to this user's comment, it says the simple fact that you imply the UFC is showing favoritism to Antonina, which, okay, I did mention in the first video rather, that she was getting favorable matchups. That's proof. Anyway, it says, without any shred of evidence except your own suspicions is the very definition of cynical. You accuse without proof. Well, I did present proof. I just didn't break it down for you. It should have been obvious. Facts are a stubborn thing. Without them, people will let their rinds run amok. People who specialize in conspiracy theories, blah, blah, blah. Specious at best. Here's where the guy reveals himself to be a Shevchenko white knight, which means that, yeah, this is why he's commenting. Because I dared to say something bad about one of the Shevchenkos. And, you know, if you do that, or imply that they're not the greatest things ever, rabid fans will come out of the woodwork and attack you. So he starts going on. Antonina's career is far more accomplished than Katlin's. Try 40-1 record as a Muay Thai fighter, 10 times world champion. Katlin won some citywide boxing championship. Both Shevchenko sisters are known worldwide for 2 decades of fighting. Antonina has had over 300 fights in various forms of martial arts. Valentina over 500 fights. Okay, we're not talking about Valentina, so I don't know why you feel the need to bring up Valentina. Again, you're making stuff up. No, I wasn't making stuff up. I pointed out that she had received big jumps up in competition that weren't necessarily justified. Again, you're making stuff up when you make false accusations. Any real fan would know who are false and deceiving. Any real fan or any nut hugger is just going to go off the wall at. Please name another fighter that is available that Katlin should have been matched up with that the fans would want to see more than Antonina. Okay, so first off, what does 40-1 as a Muay Thai fighter have to do with being in the UFC? Nothing, okay? MMA is not Muay Thai. Roxanne Modafferi has 0 pro Muay Thai fights, and yet beat Antonina, 10 times world champion. Okay, good for her. Again, talked about Valentina, how many fights she had, has nothing to do with this. So please name another fighter that is available that Katlin should have been matched with that the fans would want to see more than Antonina. She could have fought Modafferi, she could have fought Murphy. Both of those 2 fighters were free, now they're facing each other. Why are they facing each other? That's not that good of a matchup. One of them should be facing, either of them could have faced Chookagian to really earn that number 2 spot and get a chance at Valentina Shevchenko. So, don't say that there's no other fights available. There's plenty of fights available at flyweight. That's 2 of them that were available. Anyway, again, I don't normally respond to comments by making a video. I don't think I've ever done that. But this was a pretty silly comment, and coming from a straight up nut hugger, white knight, that I felt needed to be addressed. Oh, the guy who left this comment, you look at his little avatar picture, it's a picture of Valentina Shevchenko. Come on now. You're gonna get mad at me, and then you're gonna reveal yourself to be a nut hugging white knight. That's a little bit ridiculous. Shevchenko fans are the saltiest dudes in WMMA fandom. Hey, I heard they're hiring. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Likes are always appreciated. And hey, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMA now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.